Hi, I'm Kaine Binch. I'm going to talk about the contemporary issues within sport, and that's P4 of Unit 12. So we're just to the presentation. Picking that. Yeah. Right, so it's mainly all about the commercialism, and so in this part of the presentation I'm going to talk about all the issues that reflect the commercialism aspect of the game, and that's things such as politics, gamesmanship and cheating, racism and gender issues, which are my main headings, if you like. So politics. The different governments, such as Labour, Conservative, Liberal Democrats, they all fund sport in different ways, and under different governments, the schemes which are all sport related receive different amounts of money. So, like, for example, it's kind of on there already. Under the Labour government, they gave big grants to sports schemes for children, whereas under the current Conservative government, some money was taken away from those same schemes and initiatives. So this affects sport because obviously every 4 years when there's a new referendum for a new government, there's a big uproar about their budget, and because it could either be cut, improved, or remain the same. So there's never kind of a set amount for life. Yeah. But obviously all this constant thought about money means that they have to keep some back just in case. And then it means that some of the initiatives that they want to implement, they might not be financially capable. Also, there's things such as the government regulate the issuing of the work permits for people outside Europe who want to come and play in the UK. So people from, let's say, if Man United want to buy a player from Real Madrid, they have to go through the government and get a work permit to actually play for that team. So yeah, that's politics. Racism. Racism has a major impact on football. One of the impacts is that it pulls people's attention away from the actual game and more on the colour of a person's skin, and that's not in any way beneficial. But there are various good initiatives which have been put in place to try and influence people to steer away from the racism. These include things such as the Show Racism Red Card initiative, and that's the UK's anti-racism educational charity, and was established in January 1996, and they use football and football players. So people like Rio Ferdinand, there's Patrice Evra, all different sorts of players. They use them and use their high profileness, so to speak, to help tackle racism in society. An example of racism in the modern day sport is the dispute between Patrice Evra and Luis Suarez, in which allegations were made which Suarez performed a racist gesture along with a racist remark which was aimed towards Evra. And this was proven, Luis Suarez was proven guilty of this, and it was resulted in a £40,000 fine and an 8-game ban. Next one. So this is a gamesmanship and deviance, if I just go like that. Yeah, gamesmanship and cheating, sorry, which is also deviance. But yeah, so I've got a couple definitions. So gamesmanship is the use of methods, especially in a sports contest, that are dubious or seemingly improper but not strictly illegal. So kind of like bending the rules to get what you want. And cheating or deviance is to act dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage. So literally cheating. There are different advantages and disadvantages to cheating and gamesmanship, and that one of the advantages being that the team that is performing the act of gamesmanship or cheating are provided with an advantage by not playing by the rules. An example of this is Suarez's handball in the World Cup, because he handballed the ball on the goal line, and that meant that he stopped the ball going in, so he stopped a goal, and then it resulted in a penalty, and then so Uruguay had a second chance there of kind of saving the penalty and going through, and that kind of actually happened where the Uruguay player missed the penalty, and so Uruguay actually went through. So that was a big controversial thing. However, a disadvantage of gamesmanship or cheating is that it is deemed as socially unacceptable and is frowned upon by nearly everyone, as well as it giving one team a bigger advantage over the other, making it really unfair. I would personally stop this by imposing heavy fines on players as well as heavy bans, because there are already some bans and fines in place, such as I said about earlier with the racism, but compared to their income it doesn't even make a dent in it, as well as so I'd increase that, but as well as make a heavier ban, because that reduces the likelihood of a player wanting to perform the act. And last but definitely not least is gender issues. And football specifically is very male dominated, and it's harder for women to get involved to the extent that men do. One reason for this is that there is a lot more media coverage of male sport than female sport, and so the only real TV coverage of women is the Women's FA Cup, and the difference there is that the men's FA Cup final is played at Wembley, whereas the women's FA Cup final was held at the City Ground, which is a massive difference when you come to think about it. And but because of this TV coverage, there are more male role models in football than female, and so more and more males have somebody to look up to, whereas females don't really have that. But women's football is becoming increasingly popular with the things such as the Women's Super League. So much so that a woman is actually in contention with the FIFA goal of the season, with players like Messi, Ronaldo and Rooney, which is quite a big thing. And there are also less opportunities for females at an earlier stage in life, because it's a lot harder to find a female team than a men's team at a younger age, meaning that a lot of girls physically don't have the opportunities to play as much as males do. And then there are also funding problems with women's football, mainly because of the reduced popularity. So there's not a lot of money in the sport, and so women are put off of this and put in pursuit of another job, because obviously football is not going to pay the bills for them as much as it would a male. So they're going to look towards something else. And that is that. That is everything done.
Okay, so obviously you went into the four. There were four main areas there of like racism, gamesmanship and cheating, politics and gender issues. If there was like, is there anything you potentially add into racism or to try and improve racism, or
I do
help stop it in a way?
I'd do something that's already starting to occur now, whereas the FA are trying to get more black and ethnic managers into managing roles. So I think the actual numbers, like out of 92 teams in the English league, I think there's only 3 or 4. Yeah. So they're trying to increase that number, which I think is a good thing to do, which is what I'd do too. So yeah, that's that.
Good, yeah. In terms of the politics and the funding, which how do you think it will have an effect on like sport in schools?
I think that obviously school and PE and stuff like that is a major thing, because almost every child in the UK goes to school, so they all participate in PE. So if the funding isn't there for the schools, then it'll have a decreased I can't get my words out. There's a decreased participation for students, and so then because of this decreased participation, they go down different routes and do different things, and it just has a negative impact on everything.
Good. Well done.
Thank you very much.